Now, Muslim worshippers gathered in the capital Khartoum to pray for peace on the first day of Eid al-Adha. This comes hours after Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan called on Sudanese youth and all those able to defend to take up arms with the military, a call that has been widely rejected by civilians.
بأنه يقول للشباب إنه يجوا يتسلحوا عشان يقاتلوا مع الجيش، لأنه إذا كان الشباب أصلا هم أصلا قبل كده ما حصل شالوا سلاح أو ما قدروا أو ما شاركوا في معارك أو ما شاركوا في أي قتال، ما حيقدروا أكيد إنه يكونوا ذو فائدة، ممكن يكونوا ذو ضرر أكثر من يكونوا ذو فائدة للجيش.
في البداية بهني الشعب السوداني بعيد الأضحى المبارك، ونتمنى إنه ربنا يجعل البلاد آمنة ومطمئنة وينمنا الفتن ما ظهر منها وطن، وربنا ينصر قوات شعبنا المسلحة وينصر البلد كلها جميعا. وأنا ضد القرار الطلع بالجيش بأنه يا أخي يسلح أو يعني كل الشعب يسلح ويواجه المتمردين. ده قرار يعني من الجيش قرار صعب جدا ما في محله، ونتمنى إنه شنو إنه الناس زي يعني يمشوا للاتجاه الصح ما يودوا البلد لأكثر.
Let's head to the southern part of the continent, where the full bench of the Pretoria High Court has declared the termination of the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit unlawful and unconstitutional. The High Court said the existing ZEPs were deemed to be valid for the next 12 months. The Department of Home Affairs was going to terminate the permits of all 178,000 current holders on June 30th. The High Court added that the action would have placed the lives of all those affected in jeopardy. The department had already extended permits to December 2023.
The Minister of Home Affairs is aware of the two full court judgments issued by the High Court, Gauteng Division, Pretoria, delivered today, the 28th of June 2023. The Minister is still studying the two judgments and taking legal advice on them. He will, in due course, respond fully to them. In the ensuing communication, he will further outline steps that will be taken, including appeals.
To discuss this, we're joined by Dr. Vusumuzi Sibanda. He's president of the African Diaspora Global Network. Good evening to you, Doc. I assume that this is also another win for you, which you're happy about. But do put those feelings into words for us. What does the Diaspora Network think about this court decision?
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners, and thank you very much for inviting us. Well, look, this is a very welcome, judgment, and when we initially, embarked on a course to challenge the actions of the minister, a lot of people thought that, we were just trying to abuse, the systems, of the country. But obviously, we've been vindicated, and the judgment is quite detailed, and it shows exactly the shortcomings, in the minister's steps in taking this decision. Now, in this particular regard, we are confident that there is no need, I think the minister will realize that there is no need to even try and appeal this particular decision, because, the judgment, goes step by step to show the violations that the minister has committed and the failures that he has, to the extent that, any attempt to try and appeal that decision would just be an abuse of process and a waste of the taxpayers' money.
Indeed. So I want you to put this into perspective for us. We know that the ruling itself is saying that, look, the permits are valid for the next 12 months. We know the minister also had given an extension until the end of the year. How do these two align now?
Well, what basically this means is basically that the minister's decision from the year 2021 in September is invalid, to the extent that it's as good as if the minister had said nothing or done nothing. And now his extension up to the 31st of December 2023 is obviously now being overridden, by the court, decision, where now the court has given him 12 months to start the process, from scratch, which basically means that the minister has an option to change his decision and make an appropriate or a decision that is more different. But if that decision is going to adversely affect the rights, of the ZEP holders, then you would be, called upon to invite the ZEP holders in particular and other stakeholders to make submissions as to how, those decisions affecting him. Now, what that means is for the 12 months, that are coming now, the ZEP, visas or permits, are as functional as they were before the 31st of December, 2021. And therefore, what it means now is that the minister must then now think and decide what step he needs to take. If he needs to be on his, termination, and then he'll then have to invite the holders as well as other stakeholders.
I see. I want you to do two things for us in the next question. Perhaps tell us what else the verdict or the ruling in this case portends for, in terms of actions that the minister should take or actions that people with the permit should take. But does it also apply to people outside of the country at the moment?
Yes, look, this decision applies to any person who is a holder of a ZEP. That person, whether they are in or outside the country, they are equally affected, and it means that their stay in South Africa is valid up until, June 30, 2024. But you must also remember that in the event that the minister fails to follow the process that is supposed to take, the applicants can go back to court, say minister has failed, and then the court would be forced now, to take a decision, just like we have seen the minister is actually under fire at the Constitutional Court for failing to amend the Immigration Act by 2019. And to the extent that he's almost being ordered, is likely to be ordered to pay the cost of that application from his personal pocket. Now, so what is basically happening now, it means that the people that have been applying for waivers may stop applying for those waivers because that decision is invalid. So the people that have for waivers now and paying money, they may go to the department and demand that they be, reimbursed or refunded that money.
I see, Doc. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much for your insights on the subject matter. Dr. Vusumuzi Sibanda is president of the African Diaspora Global Network. He's joined us on this High Court ruling, ensuring that people with ZEP can stay in South Africa for another 12 months or perhaps even more.